Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi to all, wherever you are. Again, uh, today is another day, another great day for all you who are Malaysian. Happy Independence Day. Normally, this is the 2 weeks period we kind of celebrate patriotism and nationalism. Uh, like like for 2 weeks since the Malaysia's Independence Day is on the 31st of August, and the formation of Malaysia is on the September 16 or 15, depends. But anyway, it runs about 15 to 16 days of patriotism feel in Malaysia. So, and most of the time, people takes some holiday trips during this time, just right after a few summers and so forth. So yeah, um, it's a great season of the month, I would say. Um, I'm gonna cut. This video is gonna be very short one. Not much of things has happened for me. Um, any new notes that I acquire to tell? Yeah, pretty much I have. Only one. It's going to be very cheap one, of course. Nothing too fancy, but something um, I do not have in my collection. Uh, it's one of those picky types of multiple variation. They do look the same, but they are multiple variations. So yeah. Any sideline today? Well, to mention today is actually the 1st of September 2024. First day of a September. So first day of the month, I tend to probably the first weekend I will have to get something to, even whether it's a very common or very unknown or just mundane kind of collection. I'll try to get one. They don't cost much. Just probably a lunch. Just kind of one lunch and is fully paid. Yeah. So today, my based on the clip, I just got this 19 if bank People's Bank of China, printed in the year 1972. Well, not specifically 1972. This note is printed. This is the series of 1972 five jiao or wu jiao. Literally translate in denomination to English is from uh, 50 cent, if I'm not mistaken. 50 cent or 5 cent. Yeah. Now, I have a couple of this, like 2 3 of these banknotes, but the thing is they have number of variations. This one, on the other hand, the variation is uniquely, if I can show that, can't see it. Oh, let me get my some light. Well, I didn't realize it until I looked at under the light. I sort of notice, if you can see, there's a star behind the notes. Yeah, probably it's difficult to see right now. There, can you see there's a star here? Over here. Yeah. The note actually has star. Let me see where. Find, like, here, the top here. There's a star. Some stars here. Now, this variation is something I don't have, and something I couldn't find. This note. The most common of this note is quite our lithograph, without watermark. The watermark here is the stars, the Chinese stars, the four small stars and the big one big star, just like their national flag, the People's Republic of China, is spreading across here, 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 here across. So the paper has watermark. Those are one of the rare ones. This is considered the second type of rarity. The front part is intaglio print. The back is default is lithograph print. The back is lithograph. The front is intaglio print, which means is the inks are embolded. So when you touch, they have the feeling of the ink on top of it. So intaglio print and with watermark is considered the second rare ones that are difficult to find. The rare one is actually with a paper that it has watermark, and the front is lithograph print. So both sides lithograph print. Now, subsequently, as Cultural Revolution happened, being a communist country at that time, without doing any significant trade with the world, in China to the world, eventually their currency, the economic went down the drain. They collapsed. So as they collapse, the cost of producing this kind of banknotes becomes more expensive. So in those days, the earlier days, they have intaglio print with watermark is the standard, and then they started to try to cut the costs. Intaglio print is more expensive than lithograph print, and to produce much faster based on this, China has a huge population across in the world at that time. Even now, today is India is the largest population. China is now second, thanks to the one-child policy that they have initiated. Well, with that huge, even nevertheless, with that huge population they have in China, they have to speed up the production of their banknotes, especially smaller denomination currency, which widely used across China. Even peasants who are poor, who are lower middle class tendency, they will use more often high frequency other small denomination rather than the high denominations. So the government at that time, they need to think quick and produce. How are they able to produce this sort of banknotes in mass production and fast and cheap? So they cut a lot of corners. Then, but the design still remain the same. It's still the same series. 19, as you can see here, it's written 1972 series. But it subsequently have been printed up to the 1980s. This banknote is still valid until 1980s and until 1990s. Just discontinued in the year 2000 or 2001, where most of the older version of the banknotes all discontinued. And after the year 2000, they replaced with the banknotes series that are considered like I would call it the Chairman Mao portrait series, where all the banknotes has Chairman Mao on it. Whereas before Chairman Mao banknotes like these, they represent truly about socialism, truly about people, the industry, the propagation of communism or socialism, not idealizing its founder. I kind of think of it, today's banknote in China is a cult of personality. The country is also revolving around cult of personality of its one leader. That's a way or a method to have a national unity, in a sense, I would say. So in those days, the banknotes telling a story is much different. They're still engaging in ideological is communism and socialism, but truly represents the people in a sort of way, of course, rather than the leaders are in power and only through them the country would survive or be glorious. So that's one of those designs of the banknote to say. So anyway, the technicality why this type of series have a lot of variations. If you look at the PMG or the pick, from the catalog book, from the standard paper money, if you look at the catalog, this series has quite a number of variations. It's at least 4 variation types. I think this one they will have 3 variation types, as they go mass production on the lithograph only without watermark. Now, at the beginning, of course, they use intaglio print at the front, and then the paper has watermarks. That is providing enhanced security to prevent counterfeit. As time progresses, as the strength of the renminbi or yuan was much more weakened because due to economic collapse during the Cultural Revolution and so forth, and due to the demand of the use of smaller denomination, and becomes more frequent as the size of it is small and is widely used, so the wear and tear is much faster than expected, so they had to find a way to make it cheap. So the next stage they did is the entire back, the obverse and the reverse of the banknote became pure lithograph, but they still maintain the watermark paper. Now, a pure lithograph and has a watermark is actually the rarest among all the variation. Now, the reason is because they already decided not to produce watermark paper. The paper itself they stopped producing with the watermark because it costs money to produce those kind of paper. So what they did is they have already converted to lithograph for obverse and the reverse, the both side of the faces of the banknote. They just use up all the paper for the watermark, which is just a leftover. Basically, it's leftover paper printing on lithograph. Once they finish that, they will replace it with non-watermark paper and print purely lithograph. That becomes the most common of it, which you can buy for $1 or $2, at best $3, I would say. But normally on average market price, I would say probably at $1.50 US dollar. For this kind of note in a good condition, uncirculated. Anything that is below uncirculated is face value. To be honest, it's just face value. It worth nothing, because is those without watermark and lithograph, purely lithograph, is too much in the market. It's vastly very common, and there are a lot of uncirculated ones, and they're still intact as a bulk. So the Chinese banks still kept those in a bulk, so unused. So there's plenty of those. You can buy those for collection if you would like to buy 100 pieces in a strap, with running numbers. But of course the rarest one is the ones with pure lithograph with watermark paper, printed on the watermark paper, because the reason is I repeat, the reason is very rare is because the initial of the print of the lithograph was started, but they use over the leftover paper from the first variation they use, which is with the watermarks. They ditched the intaglio already and commenced using pure lithograph for cheaper and fast production, but they just gotta save money rather than burn those watermark papers. Whatever they have extra, they just use it, and virtually they are much smaller in quantities. So that's my next so-called search for the banknote for this type, is the variation that is lithograph with watermark. That would be a bit difficult to find, but this kind of notes is very fun to find. If you go to any dealers, they'll have plenty of this. Most of them are selling a very good price, 20-30 ringgit In good condition, sometimes they back it up to 50 ringgit. Of course, this kind of notes are old, I would say, but they don't worth that much. They're cheap for any beginners or early collectors to collect. But with the fun part of having variations, it is the best one to find, because a lot of it they have in the dealers would have a lot of these. They just don't have the time to go through rummaging all the variation, so they price it all the same. They consider it all as the same. So that's the fun part when you're noodling, as what I would use when I was in Australia. You noodle those banknotes, and you noodle the coins to find those variation that you want. And so to me, that is the fun part. Sitting there, looking through, rummaging through, noodling through all those banknotes, they look the same, and looking the specific variation that you're looking for, looking into details of those banknotes. So I think that would be very, very fun to do that. And this is one of those I did today. I just go through. He has a lot of these banknotes. It's just that a lot of it, they're quite bad condition, and I try to find the good ones and then see whether they're watermark. Luckily, among all those they had, this is the only one they have watermark. But sadly, it's intaglio. But it's okay for me because I don't have the intaglio watermark version or the variation. So the next hunt I will be finding is lithograph with watermark paper. And achieving that will completely, I would say myself, I have a complete set of the variation for this banknote. So that's it for today. All about banknotes, short, sweet. There's not much today, but hopefully by the time the next 2 weekends, probably I would say, I would be anticipating getting my second batch of banknotes from my last auction. It's just now waiting proceeds to do the payment, and once I complete that, they can deliver, and hopefully by that time I would have the banknotes to present. Those are the one very interesting. Again, like the last one I bought from the auction house, it's interesting. A lot of the banknotes from the auction house I bought are always interesting because they are the rare ones. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching it till now. If you like the video, do subscribe. I do this for fun, this video, and mainly for my own self, as my on so-called video journals of my hobby. And using, if it is a hobby, so I like to share it to the world what I have recorded, my collection. There is nothing private, I would say. This one, spreading the joy of having hobbies to the people, to the world, to the people, is something good, I would say. There's nothing personal, I would say. So if you like it, do subscribe, give me a like, thumbs up. If you want to get an alert, do subscribe, and hopefully I would see you again next time. So okay, thank you and bye.